morning, I'm Dr. Smriti Padi, Assistant Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Fakir Mohan University. Today, we have an amazing guest with us in this interview series named Parichaya of our channel, Vyasa Darshan. She is an amazing researcher, a scientist, the first woman in its 107-year history of Zoological Survey of India as director. Ma'am Dhriti Bannerjee. We are so privileged and pleased to have you here in the campus of Fakir Mohan University. How do you feel coming back to Bannerjee?
Namaskar. Thank you so much. I would like to thank you and the Fakir Mohan University for giving me an opportunity to be a part of your Parichaya series. It's an honor and privilege on my part too. And as you've been asking that how it feels like coming back to Balasore, it was a bit of nostalgia in the sense that I've been here between 1989 and 1995, and I had spent several years here. I had a fantastic time. We used to stay in Balasore in Birla Gram, where it was a colony of the Birla Tyres. My father used to work here. So I didn't attend Fakir Mohan University College at that time. I was a student of Presidency College. But as it happened that quite a few of my friends were a part of the Fakir Mohan University because they used to study in this college.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, I was in Rajasthan before, and my class 8, my physics teacher was an alumni of Fakir Mohan University College. So when I got to know that I have to come here, so there was a lot of memories, churning in my head, thinking that how will it be, and then it will be something interesting to know. In fact, I was imagining that some of my friends may be faculty today. But since I am in a kind of a rush to have this, the meeting and then the presentation and then the interaction with the scientists, so I didn't have time to go back and find out, whether they are in the faculty or not. But I'm sure some of them who had graduated at my point of time definitely must be a part of your faculty in some way or other.
But coming back to this place surely brings a lot of memories to you.
It does. I was trying to figure out, do I know this shop? And then I remember Remuna Golai ke paas there was a aloo chop at Dokan where we always used to go when we used to go for shopping for vegetables. So I was telling Debostri, my colleague who was coming along with me, that there was and they don't call it aloo chop, they call it aloo bonda or something like that, and they make it amazingly good in this part of the country, this part of India. And so it was an interesting experience, yes, a lot of memories coming back.
Okay. So university and an MOU being signed with ZSI, and looking forward to this academic collaboration, to this data sharing. What does it ensue? How do you look this MOU in future? What is it going to bring for the university and the entire academic fraternity?
So, firstly, the MOU, it's a memorandum of understanding. As a memorandum of understanding, I would say it's a kind of a bridge. We are building a bridge between your university and the Zoological Survey of India, keeping in mind that we can provide you the research orientation in the field of taxonomy, monitoring, exploration of biodiversity conservation, molecular systematics, then geospatial modeling, measuring of biological diversity in the country, and in the whole process, tune your students into becoming more aware citizens of our country, more aware citizens of future. Because once you have a hang of what is going on around you, we all know about environmental impact, climate change, we know what is happening in the environment today, we know about climate change, we know about global warming. There is a cyclone which is brewing up in a few days' time, and that is all supposed to be a part of this whole process. So there is a lot of things which we know, but knowing something and getting to work on hands, and what is the impact of it, not only on the human beings, we get to know about it on the human beings, but on the faunal diversity, on the floral diversity, because we all survive together as an ecosystem. It's not, nobody is surviving in silos.
Right.
So our job here, I guess, is to let everybody know the importance of faunal diversity and biological diversity, and its role in making your environment more habitable for future. So this MOU, in fact, there are 2-3 areas which where we will be working together very closely is the research component of it. Like your students of Fakir Mohan University, they can always come over to Zoological Survey of India. We have 16 regional centers all over the country. And as per with the MOU, as your Vice Chancellor has said, that they can actually go back and, I mean, our scientists can register as guides or from all the regional centers. So that kinds of, basically spreads I mean, that is a process through which your students can be spread all over the country without just being related to EBRC Gopalpur or only to headquarters Kolkata. So since there are guides of everybody all over the country can come and register here, at the same time your students can from here can go and work in any of our regional centers in any part of the country. So it is a kind of spreading out of your students over we give you a very large canvas to spread out as well as to go out and to work out and to reach out and to work on faunal diversity and conservation. We are working on several areas. It is not only about taxonomy, it's not only about survey, it's not only about exploration. We are also working on molecular taxonomy, we are working on phylogeny and evolutionary aspects, we are working on monitoring of the fauna, then we are working on landscape ecology and monitoring, and then there's so many various aspects where the students of the Fakir Mohan University gets to know that what is now happening in the spectrum of biodiversity research. And since ZSI is basically the advisor to the government on everything which is related to the Indian fauna, so that also in turn gives the students an exposure not only to research but also how the research translates into policy framing. So on the behalf of the government. So that I guess is a big platform we can provide to your university students.
So another question that is ringing in my head, I want to ask from the very bottom of my heart, that a researcher, a scientist, and then handling so much of responsibility from seemingly a very young age. I mean, you seem to be very young, so from a young age, and then such a wonderful communicator, and then a beautiful person. How was your early life like, and how was your? I mean, we want to get a glimpse of how was this entire journey from a little girl to this position of success and responsibility that you are in today.
Okay, then I have to go a long way back.
We are all ears.
Yeah, so it wasn't anything exceptional. I was an only child, and I grew up in a joint family. So we had a large family, and because I was an only child, so my father always kind of thought that whatever I wanted had to be provided for. And I grew up, but since I was in a joint family, so there was never any excesses of that. So we knew this, if I had to ask, if I needed a sketch pen, I will be getting only a sketch pen. It was absolutely needed. And I also knew that I would have to share it with my cousins, because if they didn't have it and they wanted it, I couldn't say that it is mine and I can't share it. So that was something I grew up with. And because my father was a very doting father, so obviously he taught me to excel. That was always in his mind, whatever I should be doing, I should be giving it my full, and I should be doing it seriously and sincerely. Even if it was drawing that, what we call the Rangoli, which we in Bengali call the Alpona, which we started off during Saraswati Puja, that was my job to draw the Alpona. Okay. So, and our building was a 5-floor building. So from the 5th floor to the ground floor, all the entire staircase had to be done by me. Right. And then if I left in between 1 or 2 stairs, so he would be coming back and telling me that if you're doing it, it has to be done properly and perfectly. You can't be leaving 2 stairs in between. So that is something which I learned very early, that if you're putting your hands into any work, it has to be done completely. It can't be left halfway, or it can't be half-baked or half-done. My mother, on the other hand, was a very calm and quiet lady, and because it was a very big family, what I learned from her was resilience, patience. I mean, for any kind of things which were going on where anybody would have lost her cool, I always found her keeping her cool. She would be patient and she would not be replying back.
Okay.
So that was a very, like later on in my life, I understood that that resilience somehow built into me. And because my father was also a very calm and quiet person, so I realized that whatever be your adversity, it will be foolish to lose your cool and be angry in face of provocation. So that is something, and that I maintained all through my life. Even if I get angry, I don't actually get angry. I show that I am angry. But behind my back, I said, okay, fine. And, this is a part of life and you have to kind of... Because I myself feel that losing your temper or losing your cool is a kind of... it's a weakness on your part. It doesn't show your strength.
Yeah.
It's a weakness. So then when I went to school. Then when I completed school, I went to high school.
So your schooling was in Kolkata?
Schooling was in Kolkata. I was a student of Mahadevi Birla Girls High School.
Okay.
And as I proudly say always, that's what I tell my daughter, that class 10 was the last time I paid I paid a tuition fee.
Okay.
After that, I didn't ever pay for any tuition fee till my PhD.
Oh,
Because
wonderful.
12 I got scholarship, BSc I was on scholarship, MSc I was on scholarship, PhD I got a fellowship. So I always go back and say that class 10 was the last time my father paid any tuition fees. And then my daughter would automatically say, what do you mean? You're not going to pay for my tuition fees. So it's something like that. But that time it was like that. Schooling was free if you are there, that was there. But now things have changed. From then 11-12 I used to study in Lady Brabant College. Then graduation I did from Presidency College, Kolkata. Then post-graduation from Calcutta University, PhD. And then it was just a normal, one after another. But since I was a very good student, so I, even for my PhD, I got 4 fellowships together.
Okay.
So, I was spoiled for choices. I didn't know which to choose. And then ultimately I first decided I'll take an international fellowship, which was a Siva Gaigi fellowship. Then after completing 2 years, I moved over to CSR. In fact, I may be the first person in CSR after qualifying the exam who wrote that can I take the fellowship after 2 years.
Okay.
Because I was already in a JRF. So that time it was possible. I guess now it wouldn't be possible also. So then after PhD, I submitted my PhD, I got into ZSI. So
and that was in the year?
That was in 1998. I submitted my PhD, I got married and I got my job. It was all happened in one year.
Same year?
One on the same year.
Okay.
So then when I started in ZSI, it was like any normal job. I was very young down the line.
And your first posting was in which city?
It was in Kolkata because the post was for Kolkata only.
Achha, okay.
So, and then it was like... I was there. When I joined it was like any other organization working on taxonomy and all that. Then I started from scratch and literally built my way up. So over the period of time, I realized that it's not always like, you come up with, when you are into something or you're starting your job, you imagine that it's going to be this, it's going to be this, it's going to be this. First thing it was like, I imagined office would be like the way I saw my dad's office. So that was a big room, it was full corporate sector. And then when I joined ZSI, I didn't even have a chair to sit. So I was thinking, kaisa office hai? Baithne ka jagah nahi hai, something like that. Then ultimately we used to go on surveys.
Okay.
So the team went for a survey and that person's table I used to sit. And then ultimately I told my officer in charge that I guess I need a table to sit. So then he told me one thing, since you don't have a table, you'll get a new table. Had you had a table, it will be an old one. So you choose. So that was a very big lesson in life. I realized that there will be small things which you sacrifice, there will be big things for you to come. Yeah. So you have to keep your hopes up for the big things to come in. So that was a very small lesson I realized. And in fact, I got a new table. So that was something that I was so happy about it. So anyway, that was, we went to field, we had a lot of field work to do. So that was an amazing experience, not only in research. When we to go out in the field, it's an experience. It's such a huge learning experience for anybody who's going out there. You learn team building. You learn how to lower your defenses and then work along with other people. You learn how to kind of go beyond your means and do your work. At the same time, you also know that there are no jobs which are menial.
Right.
Like I never cooked in my whole, when I was that age. But in that field, they were asking me, can you make dal? I was thinking, okay, how to make dal? But then I realized that, okay, it's a part of the job. So I said, okay, you do the dal, I'll do the vegetables, I'll chop the vegetables, I can clean the plates or something like that.
Okay.
So I guess that was a very learning experience for us. And anybody in ZSI is working in field, it is a kind of empathy you create amongst your team members. You get to know, and then in the evening what happens after a whole day of strenuous work, we may be sitting with a cup of tea and some muri or something like that, and we may be chatting, and then all your personal problems you share with others. So that sharing, that caring, that belonging thing, I guess that is something very important which we take along with us as we go up the ladder in ZSI.
Yeah.
We work as a family. Any scientist who is going out to the field and go with a team, and all of them, they will go together and they work, stay as a family and they work as a family.
Okay.
So I guess that this is one aspect which is very different from any other organizations, which is, this ZSI and BSI, the survey departments, they have this aspect which is very different from any other organization, because that camaraderie is built into your system. And because I joined very young, so I carried it till the end.
Okay, so just by inquisition, how old were you when you joined ZSI?
It was fun. There was, because everybody was senior to me.
Okay.
So I didn't have any responsibility. So, what I wanted, I could do.
Okay.
It was not like what was wanted of me, I had to do. The best part is that what I wanted, I did that. That was a very good.
So you enjoyed your work and still enjoy it seems.
Yeah.
And as it is, we hear that walking a mile is just like reading 100 books at the same time. And you meet with people in this sector where you're getting exposed to a lot many things. You will learn the way. So what I can gather from your story is that you learned the lessons of how to be compassionate and resilient, and how to adjust to situations, not lose your calm, share and care, but also have a knack for perfection. So are you a perfectionist also?
I am.
You are.
To a lot I am. In fact, that is sometimes good, sometimes bad also. Doesn't work all the way. But when in administration, I guess, there are points where you have to kind of, let go.
Yeah.
And keep it that point. Because we work on a delivery mode.
Okay.
And there is always a deadline to be adhered to. And you'll have to deliver in one point or the other. So then what happens is that there are points of time you can think, we'll do this much and not push it further, and then we work on it better next time. So that kind of thing also comes. But basically at heart, I'm a perfectionist. I will be sitting working on it until unless I can get the, I feel it's a full circle.
Okay. So as per the reports and as per approximately like 20% of women in ZSI, out of all the scientists, 20% are women. And also in other sectors.
33.
33.
I think not 20, 30,
around 30.
Around 30.
And also this is the same for many such sectors where it comes to breaking the glass ceiling. So all of these characteristics of yours, has it helped in breaking this glass ceiling and reaching this top position? What advice you would have for young women out there who want to achieve success in life? What are some takeaways that they can get from your story?
Okay, so I don't believe in this glass ceiling concept, to be very honest.
Okay.
There is no glass ceiling.
Okay.
The glass ceiling, I always feel, is in the women's head.
Yes.
That whether I will be able to do it or not. See, this is a survey department, and like Zoological Survey of India is 107 years old. So it's a very old organization. So in that organization, being the first director, that is history.
True.
But this organization had its first female scientist in 1949. So that should be also a history. That in 1949, a lady who was married, having kids, had gone out with a team of men out in the field to do work, collect amphibians, bring back and identify. So that is actually the original history. It's a sad thing that we never had a female director before. So maybe it was a chance factor or something, like whatever be the reason. So being here today, I realize that the glass ceiling is exactly a barrier which you mentally believe it to be there, and it's nothing. You don't break glass ceilings. You just reach a point, and you have to prepare your pathway to reach that point. You think that, okay, I should be here, I'll be reaching there, and how do I prepare myself for it? So preparing yourself is basically a lot of hard work. You have to work very hard. Be focused on your research, because those are the basic parameters with which you start. Right. The next part, I would say, is to, on your way, you have to build in that confidence that you'll be able to do your job. And that confidence has to be shown, or to be seen by the people who will be at the interview board. Exactly. That is something very important. And thirdly, that you are your own competitor. There is nobody else who is competing with you. True. So you are your competitor. So you have to prove that you are better than your own self. So that is something very important. True. So when I go ahead, I always think that tomorrow I should be better than what I was yesterday.
True. So as we know that, as Madam said, that actually the ceiling and the impediments are all in our head. If one wants to achieve something, it can be actually done so with sheer hard work and dedication, determination. And what a lovely experience it was to have you in our studio, and such a wonderful conversation. A lot of takeaways as learnings and inspiring. And please stay as you are. We wish all the best to you, Madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Namaskar.